aspiring authors. I have published 2 books, and the book industry's archaic practices have not changed in 75 years. Believe it or not, it can take 12 to 18 months before your finished manuscript goes to print. That is why I am so excited to tell you about Spines. Founded by writers and visionaries, Spines is shaking up the publishing landscape with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to quality. They will guide you from draft to global distribution hassle-free with AI-powered efficiency. They will turn your manuscript into a finished, published book within 30 days. They handle everything: editing, marketing, cover design, so you can focus on creativity. Plans start at just $125 a month, with authors earning 100% of the royalties, which no one else gives you. This streamlined publishing experience is seriously changing the game. Plus, you won't be in the dark about how your book is doing. Spines gives you the tools to track royalties, performance, and impact, because transparency is a promise. Whether you're into ebooks, audiobooks, or print on demand, Spines has got you covered. And with their global network, your story will reach readers worldwide fast. Start for free and claim your offer. If you got a story to tell, Spines is here to make sure it gets heard loud and clear. Take the first step towards being a published author today. Gordon Ryan looked the worst he has ever looked. And for good reason. Gordon has only had 10 days. 10 days of practice. Now, to qualify what that means, he goes to practice every day. Very disciplined. But he didn't have a single practice since his stomach issue that he could finish. Between dry heaving, or just needs to break, or just, hey, this was a bad idea, let's wait till tomorrow, whatever it was. He only had 10 days in a row where that didn't happen. So, for very good reason, Gordon's out of step. And I can't remember the last time he had a match. It's been a meaningful amount of time. And Yuri Simone's, meanwhile, looked awesome. And I get to keep up on Yuri. I know guys that train with him. I know some stuff that he's doing in the gym. And I mean, I can just share for you, like, this was a good Yuri, and it looked, right? If you're judging a book by the covers, you're just looking at a guy, look good. Look very good. Look quick. Look light on his feet. Look like he could really move. It was 21-0 Gordon. And I don't know if you fully understand what that means. It's very difficult for me to articulate what it means. Sports oftentimes have a mercy rule. That's what we called it in Little League. We even had it T-ball. Playing T-ball or baseball is something called Little League, which I think is still a big thing in the nation. But there was a certain amount of runs or points that you could get ahead of the other team, and they would stop the game. Well, hey, that's enough. And they would call them mercy rules. You show mercy, just stop. You've proved your point. Now, I came through wrestling, and we call it a technical fall. But it wasn't always there. Time Rick Stewart would beat a guy in the Midlands by 52 points. Like, Rick Stewart was one of the reasons they put a technical fall rule into wrestling, but they made it 15 points. And international wrestling has even dropped that to 10 and 8 points for Olympic style. So, think of boxing. Got a TKO. Think of MMA. MMA, you got all sorts of ways to lose. That's a way of keeping it safe, right? The guy can tap out. He can go out. The referee can pull him off. You throw in the towel. You go to a judge. I mean, there's all sorts of ways for victory. And jiu-jitsu doesn't have that. So 21-0 is a shocking score. That is shocking. And don't forget, Yuri is a world champion. Yuri is one of the best to have ever done it. Yuri is the reigning, defending absolute champion, or was at the time of this match. So there's no knock on Yuri by any means. And Gordon had 21 points and Yuri had none. So now you're talking about having a guy so dominant in his field that he could score 21 points against the opposition. But then you're also looking at defense that is so perfect and unpenetratable that he didn't give up a point. That is wildly shocking. And that's going to be for jiu-jitsu to decide if they want to try to come up with a type of mercy rule. I think it would be good for jiu-jitsu. A lot of those top guys do not submit each other, and the worst thing about jiu-jitsu is watching the jiu-jitsu. That is easily the worst. You want to have conflict resolution, move on. Right? Nobody's watching that to find an armbar or a head and arm choke. They're finding it because an armbar and a head and arm choke brings a resolution to your conflict. Like when people cheer when there's a finish, they're not cheering because that finish is so special. They're cheering because it's over. And that's not me trying to be funny, by the way. It really is something, jiu-jitsu, which has done a fantastic job of marketing, and I as a wrestler will have to stand back and observe what they're doing. They got it right, at least a lot more than us. But I think that they might want to look to that. 21-0. A point has been proven in spades. And what I tell you, and I took you in that diatribe to kind of fill you in. 21-0. Gordon Ryan, a lot of people don't know gymnastics. Is that fair? Could you raise your hand and go, I love gymnastics, but if I ask you how to score it, or ask you, what is a common score? What is a common score for an all-around? What is a common score for a floor routine? You wouldn't know. But I will tell you it's much like horse racing in that it's tenths. It's tenths of a point. And Simone Biles has won competitions by 7 points before. Now, in a normal sport, in a football or a baseball or a basketball, you've seen that and you might think there's nothing to see here. But in gymnastics, and the whole reason I'm bringing you this is I don't know if Gordon Ryan is the most dominant athlete in the world. Because it might be Simone. But if it's not Simone, it is Gordon. And those are your top two, like as great as LeBron. As great as LeBron is. He's not 21-0. Like, he's never been part of a game, ever. He has never been part of the game. Even the scrub teams that they played in the Olympics, he has never been part of a game where his defense was impenetrable. You will not find a LeBron game. You go back as far as you want. You have footage from when he was in the 5th grade. He never played a game where the other team didn't score. And 21-0. Does Gordon have the best offense out there? Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it in that regard, nobody else could have scored 21 points on Yuri Simone. But more, does he have the best defense out there? It was perfect. It's a goose egg. Like, you guys go to BJ Fanatics to get Chael Sonnen's instructional tape. But while you're over there, you grab Gordon's, and you usually grab Gordon's for his offense, right? Well, you're right to do so. I'm just telling you, like, this was so eye-opening to how incredible his defense is. And he is literally the most dominant athlete in sport. If you can test that, you'd have to move him to 2. You could make a very good argument in case for Simone. And 5 years ago, it would have been Simone. I'm not certain it is now. And I bring this to you to get a guy credit. Do you know how hard you have to work to have that kind of a skill base? Do you know how driven you have to be the world champion for one day? Imagine being the world champion and now you're the hunted. It changes everything, right? When you're the hunter, there's something fun about it. When you're being hunted, it's something different. And to get that drive and get that motivation, to get up early and get that extra sauna and that extra workout in, that extra conditioning, to stay after practice, to do those kinds of things when you're already number one. He could have done none of those extras. He could have done none of the extras and won that match by 8 points. I mean, do you understand the spread? 21-0. Do you understand how poorly he could have done in comparison to how he still did and still be number one? It is so impressive. I hope somebody picks it up. I hope they break into Sports Center. I hope they look at him for the Wheaties box. I hope they put him on the cover of SI. I'm quite sure they do not have a PR team in place that's even looking in that direction. And if all he ends up with is this video, he should know, and his children should know, and grandchildren and future generations. There are 6 billion men on earth. 4.8 billion of them do sport. He does it better than all of them.